I didn't realize how powerful words could be until I used mine to hurt someone I loved. Welcome to the Fluent Storybook, where every story takes you closer to mastering English. Today, we're diving into a moving tale called The Power of Words. This story will show how our words can create or destroy and teach us valuable lessons about kindness and communication. Let's explore how this unfolds through simple yet powerful storytelling. It was a sunny morning in a small, peaceful town surrounded by rolling hills and colorful gardens. The streets were quiet, with only the soft chirping of birds and the occasional sound of a passing bicycle. In one cozy corner of this town stood a little yellow house with white shutters. Inside, a girl named Hazel was getting ready for school. Hazel was 12 years old, with a curious mind and a heart full of kindness. She had bright, hazel brown eyes that always seemed to sparkle with excitement, and a smile that could light up any room. Hazel loved reading stories, playing with her golden retriever Max, and spending time with her best friend, Mia. Mia lived just 2 houses down, and they had been inseparable since kindergarten. Whether it was riding their bikes to the park, trying out new recipes, or simply sitting under the big oak tree in Hazel's backyard talking about everything and nothing, they always had fun together. Mia was quieter than Hazel, but she had a sharp wit that often made Hazel laugh so hard her stomach hurt. That morning, Hazel felt especially excited. It was talent day at school, a day when students could showcase their skills, whether it was singing, dancing, painting, or storytelling. Hazel loved writing poems and had worked hard on a special one called The Magic of Words. She couldn't wait to perform it in front of her class and hear what everyone thought. Hazel's mom packed her lunch and handed her a bright red apple, her usual reminder to eat healthy. Max wagged his tail and followed Hazel to the door, as if he knew she was going to have an important day. "Good luck, sweetheart," her mom said with a smile, giving her a quick hug. "Thanks, Mom," Hazel said, adjusting her backpack. "I think everyone's going to love my poem." When Hazel stepped outside, the fresh morning air filled her lungs, and she felt ready to conquer the day. She saw Mia waiting for her at the gate with her usual shy smile. Hazel waved enthusiastically and ran up to her. "Hey, Mia, are you ready for Talent Day?" Hazel asked, her voice bubbling with excitement. Mia nodded. "I guess so. I'm just nervous about my painting. What if people don't like it?" Hazel gave her a playful nudge. "Are you kidding? Your paintings are amazing. Everyone's going to love it. Don't worry." Mia smiled, her cheeks turning pink. Hazel always had a way of making her feel better. As they walked to school together, Hazel couldn't stop talking about her poem. She described how she had chosen every word carefully, hoping to inspire her classmates. Mia listened quietly, occasionally nodding, her thoughts drifting to her own nervousness about the day. Neither of them knew that this talent day would teach Hazel one of the most important lessons of her life, a lesson about how words could shape someone's world, for better or worse. The classroom buzzed with energy as students prepared for Talent Day. Posters covered the walls, and a small stage had been set up at the front of the room. Hazel could feel her heart racing with excitement as she clutched her poem, neatly written on a piece of cream-colored paper. Her teacher, Mrs. Carter, stood in the center of the room, clapping her hands to get everyone's attention. "All right, class, it's time to show off your amazing talents. Remember, this is a chance to support and encourage each other. Let's make it a wonderful day." One by one, students took their turn. There were giggles during Sarah's funny skit, gasps of awe during Liam's magic tricks, and loud applause for Emily's violin performance. Finally, it was Mia's turn. She walked to the front, holding a large canvas covered by a cloth. Hazel leaned forward eagerly, ready to cheer for her best friend. Mia uncovered the canvas to reveal a stunning painting of a sunset over a calm lake. The colors blended beautifully, and the reflections in the water looked almost real. The class clapped, and Mrs. Carter smiled warmly. "That's beautiful, Mia," Mrs. Carter said. "Would you like to tell us about it?" Mia's voice was soft as she explained. "I painted this because sunsets remind me of hope. Even when the day ends, there's always another one to look forward to." The class murmured in admiration. Hazel clapped loudly, but her mind was already on her turn. She was confident her poem would be just as impressive. After a few more performances, Mrs. Carter called Hazel's name. Hazel walked up with a big smile, holding her poem tightly. She cleared her throat and began to read, her voice clear and steady. Her poem, The Magic of Words, spoke about how words could inspire, heal, and bring people together. The class listened intently, and when she finished, there was a moment of silence before everyone clapped enthusiastically. "That was wonderful, Hazel," Mrs. Carter said. "Your words really have power." Hazel felt a warm glow of pride as she returned to her seat. But as the day went on, she noticed Mia had grown unusually quiet. During lunch, Hazel couldn't help but bring up her poem again. "Did you hear how everyone clapped for me?" Hazel said, smiling brightly. "I think my poem was the best part of Talent Day." Mia nodded, but her eyes stayed fixed on her sandwich. "Yeah, it was good," she said softly. Hazel didn't notice the hint of sadness in Mia's tone. She kept talking, her excitement bubbling over. "I mean, your painting was nice too, but poems just have this way of reaching people, you know? They're more meaningful." Mia froze for a moment, her hand tightening around her sandwich. Hazel didn't realize how her words had landed. To Hazel, she was just sharing her thoughts, but to Mia, it felt like her best friend had dismissed something she had worked so hard on. The rest of lunch was quiet. Mia didn't say much, and Hazel, too wrapped up in her own excitement, didn't notice. It wasn't until the end of the day, when Mia left without saying goodbye, that Hazel realized something was wrong. She watched her friend walk away, her shoulders hunched, and a small voice in Hazel's mind whispered, "What did I do?" The next morning, Hazel felt uneasy. She had spent the entire evening thinking about Mia. Something about their lunch conversation kept replaying in her mind. Why had Mia left so quietly? Usually, they walked home together, laughing and chatting about their day. Hazel frowned as she tied her shoelaces, her heart heavy with worry. When she got to school, Mia wasn't waiting at their usual spot by the gate. Hazel looked around, hoping to catch a glimpse of her friend, but Mia was nowhere to be seen. As Hazel walked to class, her steps felt heavier with each passing moment. During class, Hazel glanced over at Mia's desk. Mia sat with her head down, doodling in the margins of her notebook. She didn't even look up when Hazel whispered, "Hey, Mia," during a quiet moment. By lunch, Hazel couldn't take it anymore. She found Mia sitting under their favorite tree in the schoolyard, her sketchbook open in her lap. "Hey, Mia," Hazel said softly, sitting down beside her. Mia didn't look up. She kept shading a drawing of a bird perched on a branch. Hazel watched her for a moment before speaking again. "Are you okay? You've been really quiet today," Hazel said, her voice tinged with concern. Mia hesitated, her pencil pausing mid-stroke. Finally, she spoke, her voice barely above a whisper. "Do you even care how I feel, Hazel?" Hazel blinked, startled. "Of course I care. Why would you think that?" Mia sighed, putting down her pencil. "Yesterday, you made it sound like my painting didn't matter. You said poems were more meaningful. Do you know how hard I worked on that painting? It felt like you didn't care at all." The words hit Hazel like a cold wave. She opened her mouth to defend herself, but stopped. She replayed their lunch conversation in her mind and realized what Mia meant. Hazel had been so caught up in her excitement about her poem that she hadn't thought about how her words might affect Mia. I didn't mean to make you feel that way," Hazel said, her voice trembling. "I thought your painting was amazing. I guess I was just so excited about my poem that I wasn't thinking." Mia looked up, her eyes filled with sadness. Words are powerful, Hazel. You said it yourself in your poem. But yesterday, your words hurt me. Hazel's heart sank. She had written about the magic of words, how they could heal and inspire. But now she saw the other side of that power. Words could also wound. That evening, Hazel sat in her room, replaying Mia's words over and over. She thought about other times she might have spoken without thinking. Her little brother, Leo, often sulked when she teased him about his messy room. Her mom sometimes got quiet when Hazel complained about dinner. Even Max seemed to droop when she scolded him for chewing on her shoes. Hazel's chest tightened with guilt. She had always seen herself as a kind person, but now she realized that her words carried more weight than she'd ever imagined. She needed to do something to make things right, not just with Mia, but with everyone she had hurt. The next day, Hazel woke up with a plan. She knew she couldn't undo her thoughtless words, but she could try to make amends and show Mia how much she cared. At school, Hazel waited for Mia by the tree where they usually sat. She held a small package wrapped in bright blue paper and a folded note in her hand. When Mia arrived, Hazel took a deep breath and walked up to her. "Mia," Hazel began, her voice steady but soft. "I'm really sorry for what I said. I wasn't thinking, and I hurt you. I want you to know how much your painting meant to me." She handed Mia the package. Mia hesitated, but took it. Inside was a set of new paintbrushes and a small notebook filled with blank pages for her sketches. Hazel had spent her pocket money to buy them after school the day before. Mia opened the folded note and read Hazel's words carefully. "Dear Mia, I'm so sorry for being thoughtless. Your painting was beautiful, and it inspired me to see hope in every sunset. You're an amazing artist, and I'm lucky to have you as my best friend. I hope we can start fresh. Love, Hazel." Tears welled up in Mia's eyes as she looked at Hazel. "Thank you," she said quietly. "It means a lot that you took the time to do this." Hazel smiled, feeling a weight lift from her shoulders. "I'll do better, Mia. I promise." But Hazel didn't stop there. She decided to be more mindful with her words in every part of her life. At home, she complimented Leo on his drawings instead of teasing him about his room. She thanked her mom for making dinner and told her it tasted great. Even Max got extra belly rubs and gentle words when he greeted her after school. Each time Hazel spoke with kindness, she saw how her words could brighten someone's day. She realized that while she couldn't change the past, she could shape the future with her actions and words. In class, Hazel asked Mrs. Carter if she could read a new poem to the class. This time, her poem was called "The Choice of Words." She wrote about how words could hurt or heal, divide or unite, and how it was up to each person to choose wisely. When she finished reading, Mia clapped the loudest. Hazel looked at her friend and felt a warmth in her heart. She had learned the power of words, and now she was determined to use them for good. The weeks that followed were different for Hazel. She began to notice things she hadn't paid attention to before. Words were everywhere, in conversations, in books, even in the way people expressed emotions without saying much. She watched as her teacher, Mrs. Carter, encouraged a shy student, Daniel, during a science presentation. "You're doing great, Daniel," Mrs. Carter had said, her voice calm and supportive. Daniel's nervous hands had stopped shaking, and he finished his presentation with a proud smile. Hazel realized that kind words had given him the courage to keep going. At home, Hazel saw her little brother Leo beam when she praised his latest drawing of a spaceship. "This looks amazing, Leo. You're so creative," she had said. Leo had smiled so brightly that it made her heart swell. She thought about how often she used to tease him without realizing how much it might have hurt. Even her mom seemed happier when Hazel started expressing gratitude for the little things. "Thanks for packing my favorite sandwich, Mom," Hazel said one morning. Her mom's eyes lit up and she gave Hazel an extra hug before she left for school. But the most important change was in her relationship with Mia. The two of them grew closer than ever, spending their afternoons painting, writing, and laughing under the big oak tree in Hazel's backyard. Hazel made sure to always uplift Mia with her words, letting her know how much she admired her talent and her kindness. One day, as they sat together under the tree, Mia looked at Hazel and smiled. "You know, Hazel, you're different now." Hazel tilted her head, curious. "Different? How?" Mia shrugged, but kept smiling. "You think more about what you say. It's like your words are softer but stronger, if that makes sense." Hazel thought about it and nodded. "I guess I've learned that words aren't just sounds we throw into the air. They're like seeds. What we plant can grow into something beautiful or something hurtful. I want to plant the good ones." The lesson Hazel learned about the power of words stayed with her as she grew older. She became the kind of person people turned to for advice, knowing her words would be kind, thoughtful, and honest. She continued writing poems, and one day, she even published a book called The Magic of Words, sharing stories of how words had changed her life and the lives of others. Hazel also made it a habit to pass on her lesson to anyone willing to listen. Whenever her friends or classmates were upset about something they had said, or something that had been said to them, Hazel would gently remind them, "Words are powerful, but we always have the choice to use them for good. It's never too late to apologize, to heal, or to inspire someone. One word can change everything." Looking back, Hazel realized that Talent Day wasn't just a fun event. It was the day that taught her one of life's most important lessons. Words could build bridges or burn them. The choice was hers, and she chose to build. As Hazel and Mia sat under their favorite tree one sunny afternoon, the world around them seemed peaceful, full of laughter and hope. And Hazel knew that with every word she spoke, she had the power to make it even brighter.